The Eurocopter AS332 Super Puma is a four-bladed, twin-engine, medium-size utility helicopter developed and marketed by Aérospatiale and Eurocopter. It is an enlarged and re-engined version of the original Aérospatiale SA330 Puma. First flying in 1978, the Super Puma succeeded the SA330 Puma as the main production model of the type in 1980. Since 1990, Super Pumas in military service have been marketed under the AS532 Cougar designation. In civilian service, the next-generation successor to the AS332 was introduced in 2004, the further enlarged Eurocopter EC225 Super Puma. Development, origins: in 1974, Aérospatiale commenced development of a new medium transport helicopter based on its SA330 Puma, announcing the project at the 1975 Paris Air Show. While the new design was of similar layout to the AS330, it was powered by two of the new and more powerful turbo-mechanical turboshaft engines driving a four-bladed composite main rotor, and was designed to withstand damage better, with a more robust fuselage structure, a new crash-worthy undercarriage and the ability to withstand battle damage to the rotor blades and other key mechanical systems. It was fitted with a ventral fin under the tail, a more streamlined nose compared with the SA330, while from the start was planned to be available with two fuselage lengths, with a short fuselage version offering similar capacity to the SA330, which gives better performance in hot and high conditions, and a stretched version allowing more passengers to be carried when weight is less critical. A pre-production prototype, the SA331, modified from a SA330 airframe with Makila engines and a new gearbox, flew on September 5, 1977. The first prototype of the full Super Puma made its maiden flight on September 13, 1978, being followed by a further 5 prototypes. Flight testing revealed that, in comparison with the SA330 Puma, the AS330 Super Puma had a higher cruise speed and range, in part due to the Makila engine having a greater power output and a 17% reduction in fuel consumption per mile. The Super Puma also demonstrated far superior flight stabilization tendencies and was less reliant upon automated corrective systems. Development of the military and civil variants was carried out in parallel, including the certification process. The first civil model was delivered in 1981. Production and improvements: in 1980, Aérospatiale had replaced the older SA330 Puma with the new AS332 Super Puma as the firm's primary utility helicopter. The AS332 Super Puma proved to be highly popular. In between July 1981 and April 1987 there was an average production rate of 3 helicopters per month being built for customers, both military and civil. IPTN, an Indonesian aerospace company, also manufactured both the SA330 and AS332 under license from Aérospatiale for domestic customers. During the 1990s, Iran also procured a number of Indonesian-built Super Pumas. The Super Puma has proved especially well suited to the North Sea oil industry, where it is used to ferry personnel and equipment to and from oil platforms. One of the biggest civil operators of the type is Bristow Helicopters, who have a fleet of at least 30 Super Pumas. By 2005, various models of Super Puma have been operated by 38 different nations for a wide variety of purposes. A total of 565 Super Pumas had been delivered or were on order at this point as well. The success of the AS332 Super Puma led to the pursuit of extended development programs to produce further advanced models. Features included lengthened rotor blades, more powerful engines and gearboxes, increases in takeoff weight, and modernized avionics. A wide variety of specialized Super Puma variants followed the basic transport model into use, including dedicated search and rescue and anti-submarine warfare versions. Military Super Pumas have been marketed as the AS532 Cougar since 1990. As a fallback option to the Industries NH90, a Mark III Super Puma was also considered for development. Operational history: presidential transport, VH-34 is the Brazilian Air Force designation of the helicopter used to transport the President of Brazil. Two modified Super Pumas were used as the main presidential helicopters, having been configured to carry up to 15 passengers and 3 crew members. Nowadays this model was replaced by EC725. Various French presidents, such as François Section Mitterrand, have used military Super Pumas as an official transport during diplomatic missions. France. During the 1980s, the French Army were interested in developing a specialized airborne battlefield surveillance radar, using the Super Puma Mk2 as the host aircraft. The first prototype Eurocopter copyright E was assembled at Aérospatiale's Marignan factory and began testing in late 1988. The French Army intended to procure 20 aircraft to equip 2 squadrons. Eurocopter copyright E was described as having a pulse Doppler radar mounted on the fuselage's underside, being capable of 360-degree scanning to detect low-flying helicopters and ground vehicles at ranges of up to 150 km. Gathered data was to be relayed in real time to mobile ground stations via a single-channel data link for processing and analysis before being transmitted to battlefield commanders. The system was said to be capable of all-weather operation, and would feature protection against counteracting hostile electronic countermeasures. However, development of the system was aborted in mid-1990 as part of the post-Cold War defense spending reductions. In June 1994, France decided to intervene in the ongoing Rwandan genocide and sent a military task force to neighboring Zaire. Super Pumas provided the bulk of the task force's rotary lift capability, transporting French troops and equipment during their advance into Rwanda. Afghanistan. Various nations deployed Super Pumas to the Afghan theater during the war in Afghanistan. Variants. SA331 a Euro initial prototype, based on SA330 airframe, first flew on September 5, 1977. AS332 AA Euro commercial pre-production version. AS332B a Euro military version. AS332B1 a Euro first military version. AS332C a Euro production civil version. AS332C1 a Euro search and rescue version, equipped with a search radar and 6 stretchers. AS332F a Euro military anti-submarine and anti-ship version. AS332F1 a Euro naval version. AS332L a Euro civil version with more powerful engines, a lengthened fuselage, a larger cabin space and a larger fuel tank. AS332L1 a Euro stretched civil version, with a long fuselage and an airline interior. AS332L2 Super Puma Mk2 a Euro civil transport version, fitted with Spheroflex rotor head and DFIS. AS332M a Euro military version of the AS332L. AS332M1 a Euro stretched military version. AS332 a Euro licensed version built by IPTN, now Indonesian Aerospace. VH-34 a Euro Brazilian Air Force designation for the 2 VIP configured Super Pumas, serial numbers 8737 and 8740, operators, civilian, Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan Airlines, a Brazil, Petrobras, a Germany, German Federal Police, a China, CITIC Offshore Helicopter, a Canada, CHC Helicopter, a Hong Kong, Government Flying Service, an Iceland, Icelandic Coast Guard, a Japan, Coast Guard, a Morocco, Royal Moroccan Gendarmerie, a United Kingdom, Bond Offshore Helicopters, Bristow Helicopters, CHC Scotia, a United States, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, military. An Argentina, Argentine Army, a Bolivia, Bolivian Air Force, a Brazil, Brazilian Air Force, Brazilian Navy, a Cameroon, Cameroon Air Force, a Chile, Chilean Army, a China, People's Liberation Army Ground Force, a Democratic Republic of the Congo, Congolese Democratic Air Force, a Ecuador, Ecuadorian Army, a Finland, Finnish Border Guard, a Gabon, Gabonese Air Force, a France, Arma Copyright E de la, Arma Copyright E de Terre, a Greece, Greek Air Force, a Indonesia, Indonesian Air Force, Indonesian Navy, a Japan, Japan Ground Self-Defense Force, a Jordan, Royal Jordanian Air Force, a Kuwait, Kuwait Air Force, a Mexico, Mexican Air Force, a Nigeria, Nigerian Air Force, a Oman, Royal Air Force of Oman, a Saudi Arabia, Saudi Navy, a Singapore, Republic of Singapore Air Force, a South Korea, Republic of Korea Air Force, a Spain, Spanish Air Force, a Sweden, Swedish Air Force, a Switzerland, Swiss Air Force, a Thailand, Royal Thai Air Force, a Togo, Togolese Air Force, a United Arab Emirates, United Arab Emirates Navy, a Venezuela, Venezuelan Air Force. Notable accidents and incidents: March 14, 1992, a Euro GTI-GH lost control and crashed into the North Sea near East Shetland Basin. 11 of the 17 passengers and crew died. January 19, 1995, a Euro GTI-GK operated by Bristow Helicopters ditched in the North Sea. There were no fatalities, however the aircraft was lost. September 8, 1997, a Euro LNOPG, an AS332L1 operated by Helicopter Service AS from Braunau Sund to the Norn oil field suffered a catastrophic main gearbox failure and crashed, killing all 12 aboard. Eurocopter accepted some but not all of the AAIBN recommendations. August 11, 2000, a Swedish Armed Forces HKP-10 Super Puma crashed into a cliffside in the Kebnekaise Mountains during an alpine rescue mission. All 3 crewmen aboard died. The aircraft was totally destroyed. Since only about 70% of the aircraft was recovered, the reason was unable to determine. November 18, 2003, a Swedish Armed Forces HKP-10 Super Puma crashed during nighttime sea rescue exercises. 6 out of the 7 crew on board died. SSRS Mar Currency RTA Colin, the boat conducting the exercise, rescued the lone survivor from the sea. November 21, 2006, a Eurocopter AS332L2 search and rescue helicopter ditched in the North Sea. The aircraft was equipped with 2 automatic inflatable life rafts, but both failed to inflate. The Dutch Safety Board afterwards issued a warning. April 1, 2009, a Bond offshore helicopters AS332L2 with 16 people on board crashed into the North Sea 13 miles off Krim and on the Oberdiyantje coast. There were no survivors. The AAIB's initial report found that the crash was caused by a catastrophic failure in the aircraft's main rotor gearbox epicyclic module. November 11, 2011, a XCUHP AS332L Super Puma of Mexico's General Coordination of the Presidential Air Transport Unit crashed in the Amacamaca region south of Mexico City. Mexico's Secretary of the Interior Francisco Blake Mora died in this accident along with 7 other crew and passengers. March 28, 2012, a Venezuelan Air Force Super Puma crashed during anti-drug operations in the Venezuelan state of Apure, killing all 7 crew members on board. March 21, 2013, during a readiness exercise, a German Federal Police Eurocopter EC155 collided with a Super Puma on the ground while landing in whiteout conditions in the Olympic Stadium in Berlin, Germany, destroying both aircraft, killing one of the pilots and injuring numerous bystanders. The whiteout was caused by snow on the ground being stirred up by the helicopter downdraft. August 23, 2013, a Super Puma L2 helicopter GWNSB experienced a loss of airspeed on a low approach and ditched into the North Sea 2 miles west of Sundberg Airport at about 1820 BST. The aircraft experienced a hard impact and overturned shortly after hitting the water, however its armed flotation system deployed in the vehicle stayed afloat. 4 passengers were killed, while both crew and a further 12 passengers were rescued, most with injuries. To date, the AAIB stated it was not caused by mechanical failure. March 19, 2014, during a night SAR exercise with a vessel of the Navy, a Spanish Air Force Super Puma of the 802 Saudi Real Squadron crashed into the sea near Fuerteventura, Canary Islands. 4 of the 5 crew members died, including 3 pilots and 1 hoist operator. No distress call was received by the ATC or the vessel before the crash. Still under investigation, Human error is the suspected cause of the accident. Helicopter was recovered from the sea 1 month after the disaster. Specifications. Data from Eurocopter Profile, Jane's Aircraft Recognition Guide, General Characteristics, Crew, 2, Capacity, 19, Length, 16.29 meters, Rotor diameter, 15.6 m, Height, 4.80 m, Empty weight, 4,500 kilograms, Useful load, 4,100 kilograms, Max takeoff weight, 8,600 kilograms, Power plant, 2A, Turbo Mecha Makilla 1A1 turbo shaft, 1,300 kilowatts each. Performance, never exceed speed, 278 km per hour at 8,600 kilograms gross, maximum speed, 262 km per hour at 8,600 kilograms gross, cruise speed, 252 km per hour at 8,600 kilograms gross, range, 841 km at 8,600 kilograms gross, service ceiling, 6,100 m, rate of climb, 8.2 meters per second at 70 carats and 8,600 kilograms gross. Specifications, data from Jane's All the World's Aircraft 1993 Euro 94, General Characteristics, Crew, 2, Capacity, 24 passengers plus attendant, Length, 16.79 meters, Rotor diameter, 16.20 m, Height, 4.97 m, Disk area, 206.12 mass squared, Empty weight, 4,660 kilograms, Useful load, 4,490 kilograms, Max takeoff weight, 9,150 kilograms, Power plant, 2A, Turbo Mecha Makilla 1A2 turbo shaft, 1,376 kilowatts each. Performance, never exceed speed, 327 km per hour, maximum speed, 277 km per hour, cruise speed, 247 km per hour, range, 851 km, service ceiling, 5,180 m. Rate of climb, 7.4 meters per second, see also. Related development, or copyright Aérospatiale Puma, AS330, Eurocopter AS532, Eurocopter EC225, Kaisurian, aircraft of comparable role, configuration and era, Sikorsky S92, MILMI 38, MILMI 17, related lists, list of helicopters, references, notes. Bibliography. External links, Eurocopter's official website for Super Puma,